This video is in 360 degree format. If you move your mouse around the page, you'll be able to see all items in a 360 degree revolution. If you're watching on a mobile device, you only have to move the screen around or swipe to see everything. Central Station in its current form was officially opened on the 4th of August 1906 after previously being on the grounds of Cleveland Fields. The architect behind the design was Walter Liberty Vernon, who designed more than 50 historic buildings in New South Wales. Central has 27 platforms, although 2 of them, often referred to as the ghost platforms, aren't in operation. In 2013, more than 11.35 million people made their way through Central Station. Controversy struck Central when in 1916 a riot dubbed the Battle of Central Station occurred. Disgruntled soldiers who were unhappy with camp conditions travelled to the city on commandeered trains. The soldiers damaged station equipment and fires were exchanged between the rioters and police. One rioter died and many others were injured. Evidence of the events that day can still be seen with a small bullet hole in the marble at the entrance to Platform 1. Here are some interesting facts about Sydney's Central Station. In 1871, construction started on the second Sydney station. In 1874, the second Sydney station was officially opened. In 1900, on the 11th of December, the City Railway Extension Devonshire Street Act of 1900 was put in place. 1 million customer journeys are taken per weekday by consumers. Around 325 million customer journeys annually. There are 178 stations, including 4 airport line stations. One 8-carriage train can move more than 1,000 customers. 97.6% of trains are air-conditioned, and they operate on 961 kilometres of electrified track. In 1914, just before the start of the First World War, platforms 16 to 19 were added. In 1915, work begins on 2 additional floors to house offices, and in 1921, the clock tower came into use at 10:22 a.m.
Central Station is the largest train station in Sydney. The main area where thousands of tourists and commuters travel numbers up to 146,000 people every day. It is busy, crowded, and noisy. The transportation at Central Station includes suburban trains, intercity trains, long-distance and interstate trains, Central Light Rail trains, as well as interstate bus and coach services. Central Station has gone through countless changes throughout the years, but has managed...
On September 26, 1855, there was the opening of the first Sydney station in Cleveland Fields and was known as Redfern. Tickets were 4 shillings each for 750 first-class seats. This was for the journey between Parramatta and Sydney. In the years between 1867 and 1948, there was a funeral train service from Central Station to Rookwood Cemetery. In 1874, another station was built because the first one proved to be inadequate. This one was also called Redfern. It was built in an area formerly known as the Devonshire Street Cemetery.
Sydney Terminal contains 7 double platforms and 1 single platform, each with an awning servicing a total of 15 tracks. Platforms 1 to 3 are for country and interstate services, while the remainder are inter-urban services. The platforms run perpendicular to the main concourse and are all dead-end with a buffer stop. Platforms 1 to 15 are brick with tiled service and corbelled of brick and tile. Platforms 1 to 3 were extended in 1962 and are covered with relatively recent awnings supported with steel columns. Platforms 4 to 15 are covered with gable-ended awnings with exposed steel lattice trusses supported with hardwood timber columns. Central Station was made with 11 platforms but soon expanded to 15 and by 1913 had 19. This section is dominated by a large vaulted roof over concourse and elaborate masonry, primarily Sydney sandstone. Sydney's Central Station contains evidence of the first phase of railway construction in New South Wales and has been the major hub of rail transportation in New South Wales since the mid-19th century. It has the ability to demonstrate the evolution of changes over the past 150 years.